So welcome back everyone to my preview of the final round of this year's Six Nations. We're going to start with the Wales versus Italy game, which I'm actually going to be lucky enough. I'm going to be at the Millennium Stadium to watch this, thanks to a friend who's managed to bag me a spare ticket. But this is going to be a really important game for Wales, they've placed well so far throughout this tournament, but I don't think they've really been playing that well. They haven't impressed me. They've looked lackluster going forwards. They look like they're lacking a bit of leadership as well in the team now, and they just don't seem to have been gotten going, and subsequently they haven't scored many tries. Against England, they were flat for 65 minutes of the game. They made it a close run match, but I don't understand. They didn't deserve it. But they only seem to play properly in the last 10 minutes of the game. Now, to show how little they have been scoring, you only need to look at the table and see they've only got a points difference of +9. And for a team in second place, that's not good. Now, Wales will really need to win this match if they want to guarantee second place. If they lose and Scotland beat Ireland, then Scotland will grab second place in the table. And I feel Scotland would have deserved second place in the table throughout their performances. Also, if France beat England too, with a Wales loss, Wales could even go to fourth in the table. That bunch there in the midsection is really tightly packed at the moment, so Wales have to guarantee a win. Now, Italy have had a disappointing campaign, but they're going to be keen to get at least one win under their belt. Even if it does mean they still finish bottom, they've just got to get that mark on the board. Now, for me, Campagnaro, Sato and Garcia have been performing well for this year, and that's clearly where the Italian strengths lie. That's where their most potent players are. And obviously, you've got Sergio Parisse, who's been phenomenal throughout this tournament. In my opinion, he's probably the best number 8 of modern times. He's just so dynamic, and his ball carrying and his leadership are phenomenal. Now, Wales have not attacked very much with their backs throughout this tournament, and I think this is going to play into Italy's hands if they continue this form, because the Italians have leaked tries through it and they buckle under pressure. However, going forwards, the Italians have looked that they can be dangerous, but I imagine they're going to try and bully the Welsh pack as much as they can, the Italians. They've got a very heavyweight veteran pack, and they're going to try to look to impose themselves on them. They're going to take some comfort from the performance of Wales against England, where, like I said, Wales were poor for the majority of the match. But if they want to get anything out of the game, they're going to have to attack hard. They can't rely on just soaking up the pressure. They've got to turn it around and attack and play in the Welsh calf if they want to get anything out of this game. The result, though, I do see this as being a fairly comfortable win for Wales. I can't see Italy turning this around. Wales are going to be they're going to be a little bit disappointed with this campaign. They're going to want to make sure that at the very least they get second place. Now we're going to move on. Ireland versus Scotland. Now this is actually going to turn out to be a really interesting matchup. In theory, if Ireland win, they could finish second. They won't have earned that. In my opinion, they've been playing so badly throughout this tournament that I think it would be really unfair if they did. It would require, a Wales and a France loss as well for that to happen. But Ireland have failed to impress me in the Six Nations, and they currently find themselves second from bottom. And the only noteworthy performance was against Italy, where they really racked up a huge total against the Italians. I don't know why the Irish are struggling, as honestly, in the lead up to this Six Nations, I thought they were going to be winning this tournament, but they seem to be lacking a bit of leadership on the pitch, and just a bit of general team cohesion doesn't seem to be there. For me, their kicking has also been poor. Ireland, however, they're going to be keen not to finish any lower than they're fifth at the moment. They don't want to finish second from bottom, as they've been fairly dominant in the Six Nations in recent years. So they're going to be really keen to prove the doubters wrong as well, including me. Scotland, however, have been impressing me quite a lot during this tournament. This is the best Scotland team I've seen in years, and they've earned the right to be taken seriously. Following up from a really good World Cup campaign, they have been impressing everyone, really. Now, they were really good against France. They were absolutely solid and secured themselves a pretty comfortable win in the end. So they're going to be keen to get this win and secure at least one of their highest finishes for a long time. If they don't win, however, depending how results go, they could also finish second from bottom. This is going to be a very close game, though, and I think Scotland just going to have the edge on this one. They've got the confidence. Even if the Irish are playing at home, they haven't looked great. They just... I don't know what it is. The team just doesn't seem to be there as it has been in previous years. I think either way, this is going to be a really close game, and I don't see the difference between the points difference between more than a converted try between the two teams. The Irish defence here is what's been saving them so far in this tournament, so they're going to need to keep that up. However, they've got to get some attacking going, otherwise Scotland will counter-attack them quite well. Now, France versus England. Now, this is going to be a really key game, as if England win this, then they're going to grab their first Grand Slam since 2003. Now, the 2003 team is arguably the greatest English team ever, Well, it's not even arguably. It is. There's no argument about that. It was the team that won the World Cup, and it was just a phenomenal set of players. Now, France have been pretty much awful throughout this tournament. Yes, they played well against Ireland. Yes, they actually did play well against Scotland. I was impressed. But beyond that, every other display has been absolutely woeful. Like I said, the match against Scotland was a much improved performance, and they played a lot better. They used their backs a little bit more, and that was really, really good for them. And if they wanted to get anything against England, they're going to need to keep the pressure up. They're going to need quick ball from the breakdown. They're going to need to get that English defensive line on the back foot and not allow it time to organise, because an organised English defensive line is very good. They also got to improve their kicking. In the centre, I'd always like to see a Tranduc and Plisson combination in the back line, which would improve their kicking and distribution, because Tranduc's great at the distribution, whereas Plisson's really good at the kicking. Now, the French are going to need to tighten up their defence, though, as the English backs look really hungry, and they're going to need to contain the likes of Jonathan Joseph and Anthony Watson, who are just brilliant in the loose, and certainly if you give Mike Brown any inch of room, he's going to exploit that. England are going to be really eager to put this game to bed early, though, so look for them to attack from the off, just like they did against Wales, and do some good running rugby, which they really excelled at. They brought in Vunipola in prop to replace Joe Marler, sort of Mako Vunipola, and this may be down to discipline and temperament. Joe Marler, obviously, against Wales had some issues. He was lucky not to be cited after the game, and I also they're probably going to want to get some additional weight in the pack to counterattack a fairly heavy French scrum. I see this, though. England. Oh, sorry. The other thing England need to do is they need to not show that glass chin that they displayed against Wales. They're going to need to tighten up towards the end of the game. Maybe the problem against Wales is they busted a gut far too early in the game and they had nothing left in the tank. I see this as being a good win for England, though. England have always played well against the French, and as is always with the French, a good performance is normally followed by an absolutely shocking one. So England are going to be really hungry for this Grand Slam, though, and that's going to spur them on. I see this as being an England win, and odd enough, if we look at the table as it stands now, I think it's going to stay the same. I really do. That's my review of the Six Nations finale, and my preview of it, sorry. Love to hear what everyone else thinks. Stick your name down, stick a comment down. I hope to hear from you guys soon.